What on earth is this woman? Where did you pick her up from? She's just a heap of poverty.
Mom, what are you saying? That's disrespectful. Please stop.
You said there's someone you want me to meet. I thought she'd be some kind of socialite, and yet, what is this woman? Wearing such plain and cheap clothes, with nails like an old lady, and hardly any makeup, she's no woman, she's done. I will absolutely not allow you to marry this person. Quiet. People like this, poor people, they give me allergies. Get out at once.
Dear, you're going too far. Stop it. It's shameful. That's enough. I'm marrying Emily. It's me who's getting married. I won't let you complain. Emily, let's go.
My name is Emily. George proposed to me after 2 years of dating. We've been too busy at work to meet each other's parents. I went to George's parents' house to announce our engagement, and this happened. I was heartbroken at how bad it started. His mother seems to want George to marry a rich lady. Apparently, there was a lot of disagreement when George's older brother got married too. George and I discussed what to do from here. And that day marked the beginning of the phone attacks from my mother-in-law. Are you really thinking of marrying George? Yes, I want to start a family. Don't you feel it's impossible for you to start a family with George? Let me be clear, there is a world of difference between George, who grew up in a wealthy family, and you who grew up in a poor family. It's like a homeless person marrying a celebrity. That's not... Of course, it's impossible. George is a good bride candidate. He's been in private school since elementary school, so he's only ever been around wealthy people. That's why he looks at you, being poor, and thinks it's something new. He's just being fooled by you. I'm not deceiving him. I fell in love with George, even if he had no money. Ah, don't make me laugh. You have no right to fall in love with George. Exclude yourself immediately.
So you're saying you won't accept our marriage?
Finally got it? I've been saying that from the beginning. I can give you severance pay, but for someone of your class, how about a single quarter?
Listening to my mother-in-law, it was truly a parade of disrespect, and I had lost the strength to fight back. When I told George about this, he immediately called his mother. Mom, what did you say to Emily on the phone?
What? I just told her the truth. George, you're old enough now. Why don't you consider an arranged marriage?
I already refused the arranged marriage talk, didn't I? It's me who's getting married. I won't marry anyone but Emily. Don't contact Emily anymore.
Hold on, George. You can't speak to your mother like that. Wake up.
What the heck? I don't get what you're saying. Moreover, stop treating Emily like she's poor.
What's wrong with calling a poor person poor? A girl raised by poor folks is no good woman. I'm saying this for your future, so think about it.
There's no need for that. I'm marrying Emily, so just leave us alone. George really argued with my mother-in-law. Seeing that, I felt relieved, but my mother-in-law's attack wasn't over that easily. I was so overwhelmed with anxiety, wondering if it was a good idea to get married in this state. I discussed with George, and we decided to get married without a ceremony, only by registering our marriage. Then it was resolved that we would no longer go to his family's house, and then the calls from my mother-in-law stopped abruptly. I was feeling happy and living a normal newlywed life, but about a year later, we were told that we needed to attend a celebration for my father-in-law's longevity as a couple, and it was something we couldn't ignore, so we attended the celebration meal. My father-in-law had always been a fan of a fancy French restaurant and had an old relationship with the owner who had made a reservation. On the day of the meal,
"Oh, you're quite late."
"We're not late, so it's not right to say we're late. Anyway, Dad, congratulations."
"Father-in-law, congratulations. This is from George and me."
"Thank you. You didn't need to bother. I'll greatly receive it. This is great."
"All that is irrelevant. Let's toast." Thinking that, we toasted, and as we were eating, I thought the conversation would pick up. "When will you guys have a kid? And you're not even quitting your job. Are you incapable of housework? You're a failure as a woman."
That's something George and I discussed and decided. I'm thinking of quitting my job when I have a child.
"Shut up. 100 years earlier to talk back. This is why I hate poor people."
And the storm of complaints began again. Then, at the wealthy family meal, my mother-in-law,
"I can't eat with such a woman," she said, and jabbed her fork at me.
I was unconsciously, "Ah!" "Hey, Mom, what are you doing? Stop this now."
"I'm telling you, I can't eat with such a woman. If you understand, then leave right away, you poor thing."
Even the brother-in-law and wife who had come and my father-in-law were just stunned by my mother-in-law's attitude. However, one word from me caused a shocking turn of events that froze the air. I kept my mouth shut, but I couldn't take it anymore. "Emily, what is it about me that you hate so much?"
"The answer is simple. It's because you're poor. I have a repulsion just breathing the same air."
"You sure do talk a lot. Isn't it you who have a repulsive reaction to your own poverty? You grew up in an orphanage, after all."
What are you talking about? I come from a wealthy family. Don't make things up just because you're poor.
Your parents came from a poor family. One day they were involved in a car accident, they passed away, and you were placed in an orphanage.
Shut up! I am not like that.
You've always claimed to be a rich lady. Your parents died and ruined the company, but you were raised like a rich girl.
Yes, that's right. Of course I am. This woman is lying. Kick her out right now.
You know Mrs. Lisa from Brooklyn, my best friend's mom, right?
Lisa from Brooklyn?
Lisa from Brooklyn, same name as the wife of our company's president. That's right, the wife of the president of your company, my friend, their daughter, had been working overseas and we hadn't met often, but when I visited her home after a long time, her mother was there and we started talking about my marriage. Then, Lisa from Brooklyn told me that she grew up in an orphanage, and guess what? She was in the same orphanage as you, mother-in-law.
No, that's a lie. There's no proof.
I was shocked. I didn't think that you grew up poor, lost your parents, and were placed in an orphanage. I didn't hear anything about this. Explain it to me properly. Did you trick me when we got married?
No, it's not like that. Why would you listen to such a woman? It's obviously a lie. You need to stop this at once, lying woman.
It was then a woman appeared.
You're still as messy as ever, not even showing a hint of manners. You're blinded by money and have zero learning ability. Who are you? This is a private reservation.
I'm Lisa from Brooklyn. Long time no see. Or rather, we haven't met since we left the orphanage.
Lisa from...
Yes. Don't tell me you've forgotten. We promised back in the orphanage, didn't we? To find a rich man and live a wealthy life. I got married to a company president and made my dream come true. My husband knows that I grew up in an orphanage and I've been devoted to him. After all, I have nothing but gratitude. Right, George? You know about this, don't you? Mrs. President, good to see you. Of course I do. You're really a lovey-dovey couple, and it's famous within the company. I always admired you guys. It's enviable. Even though you have such a great son, what were you doing? Could it be you've been doing something like a fraud filled with lies?
Stop it. Can you just leave?
No way. I can't just stand by when my daughter's best friend is in a pinch.
You've been doing unnecessary things like that for a long time. Stop interfering.
I've just come to share the truth. Is it bad to tell the truth? You must be joking, right?
Just leave.
My mother-in-law's face turned pale as she watched. Right in front of her was her former best friend from her time at the facility. And then Cherry continued her story. Jasmine was wayward since middle school, skipping school, hanging out with the wrong crowd, getting scolded when caught.
Stop it, please. Lack of enthusiasm for high school, barely attending classes, going through guys from the local gang.
It was rumored that she was a wicked woman who couldn't say no.
Stop it!
Moreover, when you mentioned Razor, Jasmine, there was nobody who didn't know. A winning gang leader, a figure that was avoided and not approached. Parents weren't there to keep her in check. It was thought impossible for such a horrid woman to marry. It was like you married the CEO of Cornerstone Real Estate. Quite the scam. Hey, what does this mean? What do you have to say for yourself? I haven't heard any of this. At company parties, didn't she complain about feeling unwell? I don't think she's ever attended. She's just a clueless gangster. Her real nature would soon be exposed. That's why she has the nerve to be a con artist. So that's why you always felt ill when it came to parties. I thought it was strange, but this is the reason.
That's not true. Please listen to me.
There's no need to listen to your stories.
No way!
Cherry just told us the truth. I don't want to hear any of your lies.
Please don't bully Emily. After all, her father is a major shareholder of our company. There's no way a major shareholder could live in such an old apartment.
Major shareholder?
You must know the architect, Mr. Michael. So what? That's irrelevant now. Leave already.
Michael is Emily's father.
Huh? What are you saying? Michael is known worldwide, and he is said to work in a large mansion built on a vast piece of land in the mountains. This woman's father lives in a shabby apartment.
That's just an old apartment he bought years ago. He usually works in the mountains and hardly ever comes out.
Your lies won't work.
Look at this. Cherry showed me a photograph on her smartphone, which made headlines when I was born. Upon seeing this, my mother-in-law's eyes widened in surprise.
Oh my, is this baby you? You're Emily? Oh my,
Did you enjoy ridiculing me? Money has nothing to do with marriage. If you don't have a genuine heart, you can't be a couple.
What? Why didn't you tell me?
Whether my parents are wealthy or not doesn't change who I am. I will never forget the insults you threw at me.
Please don't say that.
Unable to forgive everything that had happened, I suddenly talked back to my mother-in-law. You get allergies just from breathing the same air as poor people, right? At the marriage proposal, even though I was wearing a high-fashion dress designed by a famous designer, you said it looked cheap and poor. Marrying George is like a celebrity marrying a homeless person. The severance money you said you'd pay to break us up is worth just a single quarter, isn't it?
Well, that's...
You judge people based on your own selfish assumptions. Just because a family has money, anyone is fine. Such a barbaric way of thinking. Enough with your nonsense. Tears started to well up in my eyes out of frustration, and I didn't stop there. I heard about what you said from Cherry before our marriage. Moreover, my parents told me that happiness cannot be decided by money. It's your trustworthy partner. Trust in yourself. Emily, knowing that, why did you still want to marry me? I understand how you feel, mother-in-law. If you lose your parents, have no money, and have to be put in a facility, anyone would go crazy in that situation. That's why I wanted to deepen our familial bonds through marriage, to help heal your emotional wounds. I was even willing to live with you for that.
I didn't know anything about you. I can't understand if you don't tell me.
You insulted me before we could have that conversation. I was planning to keep this to myself thinking of your hardship, but I couldn't bear it any longer. That's why... I broke down crying. Then George hugs me gently. Emily, I'm sorry. I should have understood you better. I should have protected you more. Emily, I'm really sorry. You're the only one for me. I believe in destiny, Emily. Thank you, Emily. We truly caused you a lot of trouble. I want to apologize as well. I'm so sorry. Father-in-law, please don't apologize. You are a respectable man. Thank you, Emily. Although it was meant to be a celebratory meal for my father-in-law, it ended up like this, and I felt incredibly guilty. My mother-in-law lost her ground and left the scene hastily. No one went after her. It seems she was later kicked out by my father-in-law, agreed to divorce, and left the house. Without any family to rely on, my mother-in-law probably had to start her life all over again from scratch. It must have been a hard start. I was worried about my father-in-law, so I decided to live with him at his house and quit my job. Most importantly, I was happy to be pregnant, and in just another 6 months, I'll be a parent. My father-in-law was overjoyed, and we called Cherry to celebrate. I feel so fortunate to be able to raise a child surrounded by a loving family. George, we have to work harder for the child that will be born to us.